We're going to start with the bid already, I see. Okay, yes, I'll go first. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Mary Beth Scumaci. As Lisa said, I'm the Director of Online Learning here at Medaille College. And Juliana and I have worked together for years. We're really excited to be here today. We've worked in a lot of capacities. You know, I've had everything from Associate Dean. I've been with the Education Department as Associate Professor for 18 years. I started out in elementary education. So I just love education. I'm really passionate about it, engaging students and getting them involved. So I'm really excited to be here today to share some of our ideas with you guys and to hear some of your ideas as well.
I completely agree. Hi, I'm Juliana White. And as Mary Beth said, we worked together for a long time. And I was a classroom teacher in various colleges when I ran into Mary Beth, and she said, hey, I think you'd be a good fit online class I'm developing. And I thought, online, like I have a certain shtick that I can pull off in a classroom, and I didn't know how that was going to translate online. But I'm happy to say it's translated very well and become something I'm really passionate about. So I can't wait to share all of our ideas with you today. So let's get going. Okay, hopefully before you signed up, you actually read what this was about, so I don't feel like I need to read this to you again. But basically, I have to say I love this so much, as Mary Beth will attest. It's the tagline on my emails underneath my signature is that humor is no enemy to learning. I think it's important to know that you can blend humor into a classroom. It's like you can be funny without making your class a joke. There's a fine distinction there. You know, just like you want people to laugh with you, not at you, I think there's that same line in education that we need to walk. And hopefully today we're going to give you some really good ideas on how to do that, and how, you know, you don't want to be a clown, but you want to make things entertaining and engaged while most importantly still being yourself. So these are some of the things that we're going to run through. Obviously, we're in our introductions right now, and Mary Beth is about to get very punny with you in a minute. And then we will come through some of those other things that will share things that we've done and hopefully inspire you to all of the great things that you're going to do with your own curriculum.
And the puns are just a great way to get started, like a nice little warm-up activity to bring the students together, to, you know, get the class together. It can be anything from something from course content, something from the news, something, and, you know, just anything that has to do with even just checking in with the students and see how they're feeling. So we're going to get started here. So our first pun of the day here is, what do you call a farmer that makes bad jokes? I go ahead and just enter that answer in the chat there if you've got one.
I'm watching.
I know, just while they're there, while everybody's thinking, see if they can figure that one out. The other thing we've incorporated too, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, is that we have some quotes in there as well. So those are always a nice way to get people thinking and to get them started, and to either channel them into the class and course content. Christy says, Dad. I have one of those dads too, and a grandpa, so maybe that's where all this started from. All right. Corny, you got it, Rebecca. Good for you. The first one was corny. So hopefully we've got you guys chuckling, or at least thinking a little bit as we go. Here's a second one for you. Where do bees go if they need a ride?
Oh, I liked the Jolly Rancher back from the
That's
old one. That was a good
That
answer.
was creative. Very good. We got the buzz stop. Very good, producer 4. Fantastic. Let's go to the next one here. And the third pun that we've got for you today is, where did the computer go dancing? So go ahead and enter that answer right in your chat. They catch a buzz. I like that one.
And they could do that while they go dancing.
Well, now, come on. This is you, baby, Juliana. So we'll give this just another second or two. And one of our quotes here for this one is, all people smile in the same language, which is a beautiful thought, that all you have to do is, you know, show that smile you've got going, and you can change the day for anybody, anywhere. The Internet Cafe, I like that one. Discotheque, disco, very good. And that's what it is, at the disco. So you can see here, this is just a cute, fun way of getting your class together at the beginning of a session and pulling everybody in, getting them thinking, the haha humor, you know, lots of different creative thoughts and ideas that you can pull from with your students. So Juliana's going to take it away here with a little bit of the research.
Okay, as it says, just to show you that we're not making this stuff up, there is a foundation to everything we're going to talk about today. We're not going to get too deep into that because that you can do on your own time. We do have a reference slide in here that has some great different articles that you can check out. But just so you know, we're not crazy. Studies have shown increases in learning, self-motivation, class attendance, test performance, divergent thinking, and an interest in learning. All of those things that we want. I always say, if I can just give my students a love of learning, I have done my job. So hopefully some of our techniques will help you enhance that in your own classrooms.
Yeah, they have to break in here. Saffron just put in the chat, floppy disks. Whoa, that's right. There's more than one way to get them laughing at you. So if they don't know, floppy disks from our generation or telephone booths, but now for kids, it's the getting rid of all of those toll booths, right? They're not there. But a few other things too that you can consider here is the reduction of anxiety and stress. It's just kind of a little bit of relief, a little bit of lightheartedness. It's a little bit maybe of a change up from a serious lecture that they may have come from. It creates a positive social and emotional learning environment for students and a common psychological bond between the students and the faculty. And as we know, and was showcased very well in our keynote today, that how important it is to really get to know your students and to really be able to draw what they have into the classroom to enrich and to make the learning more meaningful.
Okay, so we did throw a study in here because I particularly liked this one because it targeted Blackboard, and they actually found that when a professor was using jokes and self-deprecating humor and all those things I'm way too good at, that students logged onto Blackboard more. So I thought that was really interesting to make the connection to logging onto Blackboard specifically. I thought we definitely need to throw that slide in here. And of course, for our first cartoon of the day, it is never too late to recognize that punctuation saves lives because, let's not eat grammar.
No, especially with Thanksgiving coming, that would be rude. All right, so we're going to go on here. Juliana is going to showcase one of the things we really love doing as introducing things with videos, whether they're course navigation videos, that introductory welcome video, the little video that gets every week started with that instructor personal touch. And I'm going to let Juliana share with some of the ways that she does it.
Absolutely. Mary Beth and I will talk your ears off on how important these are just as connector pieces. And I put together a little collage of some of the things that my students have endured throughout my weekly videos. And I have to say that they rely on these videos. For one thing, they tune in just to see where the heck I'm going to be next. I'm a strong proponent that you want to go to different places for these, kind of like a Where's Waldo, like where is she going to turn up this time? And you'll notice I'm kind of like a prop comic with my videos. I like to use props to enhance whatever I'm talking about that day. One that I like to use a lot is actually the one where I'm standing outside by the tree. I'm juggling in this videos. One of those useless skills you get as a kid that actually comes in handy here, because I'll make an analogy of maybe 3 different projects they have going on, or maybe 3 different ways to engage in an online class, things they need to keep in mind, checking their email all the time, setting aside time for their assignments. You come up with 3 components, and then of course I would juggle them and talk about keeping all your balls in the air and making sure you don't let anything drop. And then I have my hula hoop down there, which sometimes I use as a circle of life, but this one I was actually using to talk about the action research cycle. Visuals are really good at engaging your students, and it doesn't take a lot to come up with one. Easter Sunday, that is a bona fide Easter Sunday, because I always promise my class I will give them videos every Sunday, and I did not drop the ball on Easter, so I put on the giant hat, got some peeps, and had a really good shtick going that day. But my favorite of all time has to be the blizzard video in the bottom corner. My students still talk about this one. It was our action research week in my research course where they were coming up with their topic, the whole foundation for their research project, and I actually went outside, we're Buffalo, went outside in a blizzard, made my adult son come out with me as my cameraman and sidekick, because I did a whole thing about how doing research is like building a snowman. And if you don't have a good foundation, every layer on top of it falls apart. So I actually started in with packing the snow, and that's doing your reconnaissance and honing in on your topic, because you need that foundation for all this subsequent pieces. But then, of course, I made him pelt me with snowballs because you always have to be prepared for the unexpected. So once that experience was over, I had that class wrapped around my finger because they thought if I could stand outside during a blizzard just to make a point, that they darn well better be putting sufficient effort into their research to match my effort in bringing them their video.
Yeah, and a couple tips. Juliana does this really, really well, and she's crazy and she stands on tables and does all kinds of crazy things, but you don't have to be crazy. You know, in our faculty trainings, we talk about how you have to be genuine. You have to be yourself. You have to let yourself shine through, and your students are going to love you for who you are as long as you have that genuine, sincere video message with them. And it's really great that way. We showcase different things, you know, the crazy, the silly, the serious, and you've got to be who you want to be. You connect with them, and all of that stuff will take you very forward with your students. And Juliana here has some of the student opinion surveys comments that she's had too, which just reinforce that whole idea of how much of an impact these have.
Yeah, what I like about some of these are the things that they choose to say, making a dry topic entertaining, putting me at ease when I feel overwhelmed. I loved that comment. Or when I need an extra boost, they provide me that. Or especially for an asynchronous class, I found, you know, these things important, giving it a personalized feel. I mean, those I could not have written better. I promise I didn't. They're real. But I could not have written those better because those are the things that we're trying to do in an online class, you know, are elicit all of those things. So that is what some good welcome videos weekly can do for you.
Yeah, and they're definitely engaging and you're definitely connecting with your students. So in my book, that's a great best practice where you're starting off right out of the gate. Very strong.
Okay, here's something that actually I will give Mary Beth credit for. When I first started, she said, try bonus assignments. And they're just little things that we do in an online class that are somewhat related to class, maybe a little bit irrelevant, gives them those extra bonus points for things that I always say, for those points you get off that really annoy you, those moments, I can't believe I missed that. I am not an easy grader. I hold them accountable. I will mark off for the little things, but I'll give them a chance to earn those little things back. So I hold them accountable, but it's not a defeatist attitude because they know they can earn those back in different ways. And I'll look for bonus assignments that I'll throw in during the semester that I really target as stress reducing centering moments for them. You know, our class can run you over, and it's nice to force them to take a step back because this way they're getting points from it. So they're going to want to do it, but it forces them to take a breath and remember why they're in college to begin with, that they this and they love this curriculum and they want to change the world. So they're kind of rejuvenating. So this one was about posting a course related meme. So obviously, you know, it was an APA week for us. But my absolute favorite is the one on the right that, you know, besides posting the meme, they have to write a paragraph about why they chose it. And his was that he had gotten onto Blackboard to do his chapter 3 assignment and saw there was a bonus question. And as you can see from the meme, ran right off the road. Go ahead and do this bonus question. So I think that is the best visual you can ever have. And again, some student feedback at the bottom about how much they appreciated these. And if Mary Beth flips the slide, you will see another one that we like to do. I actually attended a seminar a couple of years ago. It was a workshop on engaging Generation Z. And one of the things our presenter did was challenge us to use TikTok in our classroom. So I thought, well, the bonuses are a perfect place for me to do this. And I've since tailored it to doing TikTok or a video. I don't want to force anyone to use a certain platform, but there are, again, bonus assignments where it's record a TikTok and, you know, throw it into our class, earn some bonus points. If you can tie it into the curriculum, all the better. But this one was just like a dance it out or show me your pets. And they love doing it with their families. I'll sometimes give them bonus points if they pull the families in. So there was one of my students with her brother. I'm on there with my daughter and our host student from Trinidad dancing in the driveway. They're, again, just ways to make things a little more lighthearted. I actually had a girl go viral once. One of her TikToks that she submitted in class ended up with over 1 million views. She went viral for a while, so that's an added bonus. But it was a cool way to integrate things. And just like the presenters talked about in the keynote this morning, I mean, he specifically mentioned TikTok and, you know, doing things that are on their level, showing that you can relate to things that are important to the students. It goes a long way.
And we've got a lot of good things popping up in the chat too, everybody. So thank you. And as you see me turn my head, I'm trying to advance the slides here and look over here at the chat too, so please excuse the eye shifting. But Christy was mentioning about how she uses these things in her class and for bonuses, and Matt's talking about how he mentioned how he sets it up like a quiz, a mock quiz, and getting them started and has silly questions too, and connecting them to pop culture, so it draws the kids in that way in a low anxiety reducing way. And just Sam was mentioning how just the dopamine they'll get from the memes and how incalculable that is, and it's really true, and it's fun too for us as the instructors as well. And then some of the other things, just like you guys are mentioning in the chat there, drawing things into the current events, you know, so this is one I put together during COVID, obviously, and you can show the difference and just talk about what it was like in the 40s and when we really had that first remote learning back with the polio shot days, and having the kids write little comment bubbles in there. What do you think these kids are thinking? What do you think that they're saying? Or my favorite, I love this one that was on social media about the 91-year-old professor who just dove right in and moved to that shift to remote. And then of course there's our adorable Max, who is our college mascot. He's got his mask on there, so he was ready for COVID as well, posing with one of our students, and you know, helping the students deal in a little bit of a lighter sense with what's going on, how they can express their feelings and the emotions and things that go along behind them, but also how it's historical, you know, about what's been happening with health and wellness throughout the generations. Some other things, laugh and learn. I'm sure you guys have a million different tech tools that you integrate to help support your curriculum. And a few of the ones that we just threw in here, Padlet's a great one. They're so super easy to set up. And this one that I have the example here was just simply what made you smile. So it was a good getting started one. You know, everybody could chime in. They were posting pictures, video clips. You see their pets, their families, all of the things that are important to them and makes them more human, as well as you more human to them when you're posting them yourselves. Or getting started with Flipgrid and using those discussions in Flipgrid and all of the different cutesy frames and little pop-up pictures and things you can put with them. Or Powtoons, if you haven't tried those are a lot of fun. You can make up your own little videos that are based off of templates, and you can switch things in and out, switch the text. It makes it really super easy for you to create something really exciting. And I was in one of the sessions earlier where I think it was Kat, she was mentioning how she uses a Powtoon now to introduce most of her subject matter because the students like them so much that it really draws them in and engages them. And of course you have things like Kahoot and other games, maybe you're using Jeopardy. I'm a big fan of Bitmojis. I've got that elementary school teacher in me that will never ever go away. And the Bitmojis are just fun because it's a quick post you can throw into an announcement or post in a discussion board, or just show a little bit of emotion and a little bit of lightness. And of course, my favorite one is that falling asleep at the computer, because like you guys, you can probably relate. It's kind of easy to do in our careers, right? We're working at night and back again, and just that whole zoomed out kind of phase from that remote instruction as well. Oh, Flipgrid, somebody's mentioning that they love the Flipgrid. So that's really great. A lot of people I know do like that. Another area that we dabble into is music and poetry, and I promise you I will not sing for you because that's my gift to you for today. But you know, top your own charts in your classroom. You have kids with so many talents, and have them edit the song lyrics for grammatical corrections, have them read the song lyrics as a dramatic poetry reading, have them create their own songs, have them mix it to music. There's so many tech tools and so many talents sitting within us. Make these things fun and engaging. And of course, we've got Max here with Robbie Tech Hack from the Goo Goo Dolls, because not only is he local from here in Buffalo, he's also a Medaille alum and was on our board as well. And they used to play in one of our houses here on campus, which was really pretty exciting. And then, of course, movies and music and YouTube videos, they're so easy to integrate with the Blackboard tools and to pull them in, whether you're using it with the embed codes or whether you're using it through the YouTube video or however you're pulling them in, but they can really enhance what you're doing. Human performance with Creed, that's an idea from one of our instructors, Katie, that we work with and helping build her course. And what she does is she showcases a little clip of Creed, and then it's a sports management course. So they then talk about what it's like to develop a human performance students plan when you're in Hollywood and what they're portraying in the movies versus what it's like in the real world and what they're doing for themselves, or in the sports management program, professional sports athletes that they're going to be working with. Or Rich, another one of our professors here in the sports management, he does a bit on one of his assignments is on coaching, and he always used to use just the miracle when he was teaching, and then he'd use that clip of it, but then broadened it to letting the students find any video that they wanted on coaching and then integrate that. And that's helpful in a couple of ways. One, it's helpful because it won't break copyrights. Two, the students can get their hands on anything they want. If they have Netflix, Hulu, they're watching it on television, they have an old movie that they can watch. So there's lots of different ways that they can get their hands on those clips and bring them in to answer their assignment without it being an inconvenience. Or we call them, let's have a Netflix party. So, just stay after class or meet and, have a little movie club day or something where you can even, watch something all together. And Daniel, one of our interdisciplinary studies instructors, he has a course for history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and he brings in all of the songs and the rapping. This is a rap video that he uses to show the kids, that we all can rap. It's just in a different culture. It's just in a different language with a different kind of a twist, as well as bringing in the clothing and the foods and all of the history that goes along with it, so that it really helps to enhance and engage the lesson and the content that the students are learning about, but making stronger connections to their own lives as well.
And of course, as I mentioned, we're up here in Buffalo, so our presentation was not going to be complete without a slide with Josh Allen on it. And I am happy to say I used this just in my class a few weeks ago. We were entering our statistics unit, and people tend to look at math, as you know, with a level of anxiety, and they have trouble relating math to the real world, and they really have trouble relating math to anything enjoyable. So I always try to turn math into not only real world, which it certainly is, but things that they find entertaining. So I had thrown this in there because it was actually on Reddit, and it had an analysis of our offense in Z-scores compared with all the other offenses in the NFL. And as you'll see way up there in the tippy top right-hand corner is our little Buffalo up there, because we are literally almost off the chart. So it's a great visual. And of course, our little moment to brag, because we're in Buffalo. We don't get to do that often. So we had to throw that in there. But it's a great way to get them involved. And remember that analytics is math. And, so many people get into the analytics of baseball, football, hockey, basketball, any of the major sports, and forget that there's math involved in that. So I certainly like to throw those in there. And again, we made a presentation with Josh Allen and Michael B. Jordan. We're not getting any better than that.
And who doesn't love a football player who can hurdle people? How cool is that, right? We have some other great ideas popping up here in the chat about taking your course description and making it into a Mad Lib. How funny would that be on your first day of class? Oh my gosh, I can just imagine some of the things that you get. Or Hayden is talking about how misspelling confused words and showing a clip from How I Met Your Mother. So there are just so many things. Patricia's doing anthems in her class. This is just really, really great stuff. And Stephanie's mentioned, how great it is to pull in the real life things for the stats to help make those connections and make it more authentic and engaging for the students. So our goals and some of the things, just to wrap a little bit of this up, as we have a few more slides, but as we're coming to an end, is really the goal is stress reduction and that personal and academic connections to strengthen the learning process between you and your students. So not only student to instructor, instructor to student, but students to students as well. And so be genuine, be yourself, keep it light. I call them one-take wonders when we're doing those videos and things. If I re-recorded every time I had a little bobble, I wouldn't be doing them because I'd be so frustrated. And it also makes it more human. I get feedback from people saying, oh my gosh, that was so funny, or, oh shoot, I'm so glad you make mistakes too. It just always makes me feel better about what I'm doing as well. And we talked about the bonus challenges and opening up warm-ups. And Juliana wanted me to throw this in because anybody who knows me here on campus knows that my hashtag is helpful, not Hollywood, because that just lowers the stress level bar for me right there, sends the message to everybody, hey, I'm just creating creating these for fun, to engage, to help strengthen the learning content, and to get connected and to get to know you guys a little bit better, and to help have a little bit more fun in class. And hopefully it's another tool that we can use, and we've got the closed captioning, and we have our transcripts so people can read, can watch. It meets accommodations for those who need it, or for people who just enjoy it as a preference.
Of course, we have to pump our BB tools and the different ways and maneuvers you can use to get these into your class. Obviously, announcements. Usually in announcements in my classes, I will link in whatever my weekly video is. I'll put it in my weekly content on the course content page, but I will also link it into my announcement, which, I pepper them with. I send it to their email. I leave it in the announcement. I have it everywhere so they can never pretend they don't see it. And it's a great way just to talk about things that are going on that week. That's the one thing I really miss in an online class, is just that chit chat time that you get before class or after class, where you can check in on people, do a little bit of wrap up of, oh, you guys made a lot of mistakes on this particular thing. So this week, be sure to watch out for that. I throw those things into announcements. And then of course we can use course messages and conversations, discussions. There have been a lot of great sessions today about discussions, assignments, tests, groups, BB Collaborate, and then obviously the media links, videos, and images that Blackboard makes it very easy to combine into your class. Interactive things that make things come alive. And of course, the more pop culture or a little bit of humor, the better. I saw people, talking about dopamine and all those positive endorphins that you get just from releasing those things, and letting students know that your class is not going to be a stressful place. I'm not saying my class is a joke, because it is not. I mean, research and statistics is intimidating, but the material doesn't have to be presented in an intimidating manner. The biggest compliment I'll ever get is that I was terrified to take your course ahead of time, and now it's my favorite class. I mean, I still don't like math, but it's my favorite class. So you have to accept that you might not win them over with the content, but you can certainly win them over with your instruction methods and make something that was going to be unpleasant, at least not unpleasant. So I think that is a goal that we should all strive to achieve in our curriculum, whether we're in person or online.
And Blackboard makes it so simple. I mean, it's so easy with the tools that are embedded in the management system, just to grab them and to post them and to embed them and to add to the design of your layout of what you're posting, whether you're teaching on ground and supplementing, or whether you're teaching asynchronous or even synchronous courses. But Julianne, I've got to share with you, Graceful says here that my dean comes into my management class to talk about what he learned about management from playing soccer. How awesome is that for the students, not only to be able to make those sports connections, which draws so many students in, but also see their dean in a different role than what they normally see them on campus. I mean, that's just priceless in itself. All right, so we did it, Juliana. We've got our 5 minutes left for people to ask questions or to share stories, and to be able to just, kind of wrap this up a little bit as we're going through. And I see that somebody mentioned they would have liked some more math. So we're going to have to work on that, Julianne. We'll have to work on enhancing this presentation a little bit and drawing in some more examples. But, we tried to cover quite a few of them to just see what, to demonstrate what you can do with any of the content that you're doing, because there's just so much out there that makes it really easy for us to integrate these things. So if anybody has any math suggestions, go ahead, please throw them in the chat, and we can do a little bit of collaboration here for that topic matter.
When I was teaching fundamentals of math for the incoming freshmen that didn't have the foundations they needed to get into 101, and we were going back to things as simple as just the distributive property of multiplication and taking that number and multiplying it by everything inside the parentheses, I would make up the dumbest analogies for them, treating the parentheses like it was a house and you're standing outside the house and you have a really good looking date. And what do? You want to show that date off to every single person inside the house, leaving out none of them until you get out the back door. I would come up with crazy analogies for all of the math applications that I would always tell them, if my class turns out to be like that jingle that you can't get out of your head and you're really annoyed by it, but it's in there, it's doing its job. Because if it's a jingle in your head, you're remembering it. So I would come up with silly scenarios, and every time they would get to that portion of the class, I'd say, okay, what do we have to do next? And they'd be like, bring my date to the party. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a distributive property, but yes, bring your date to the party. So, I mean, those were some of the tricks I learned, and little songs, making songs out of things. To the left is a really great one when you're moving decimals. So get creative and get those little brain worms in there that you say over and over again, or again, sing. I don't sing well, but I do sing it at them and they appreciate it, maybe.
And I have, I was trying the chat keeps jumping up on me here, but Zane was asking questions, or Zayan, sorry if I mispronounced that. Do you ever encounter inclusion and or equity issues with the bonus assignments? For example, only certain students being able to complete them. I personally have not had that problem. I try and offer options a lot, so that if they can't get something one way, they can get it another way, leaving it open to them whether they can take pictures or whether they have it in print, or whether, I did one with QR codes one time, and they could either bring in the QR codes, they could post the QR codes, you know, they could draw a picture of a QR code, whatever it would happen to be. So sometimes we just have to get a little more creative about how we're making those opportunities to reach everybody so that everybody can join in. Let's see, we've got another one. Kathy was asking us to talk a little bit more. Hi, Kathy. It's good to see you again. About encouraging to add on to the course fun by supporting their creativity. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about it. If you start to think about fun, you know, we all tend to channel things and think about things the way we learn, the way that we've done it, and trying to broaden that scope to think about how they do it and how they've done it. And Julianne and I joke a lot about, I refer to it with faculty when we're doing trainings and things, you know, the puppies versus the dinosaurs. You know, we have to get out of our own dinosaur age, and we do have to go after things like TikTok, even though we may not want to, so that we can pull it in, and we can encourage the students and let them know that we do care about their interest, and they can laugh at us all the way, and a lot of times they do, right, Juliana? Oh, yeah. But that's a good thing. I don't mind that. I can, you know, I'd rather be laughed at like that and have them remember, you know, the content and having it be fun content or something that triggers that. Oh yeah, that QR code in Scumachi's class. Remember we did this and we can use them for this, those types of things. So they have a piece of attachment there that they can pull that information forward with them. And Lisa's saying, my children say I'm too old to be on TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, that's a tough one, Lisa. I know. Sometimes we have to hide that stuff, right? I do leave my kids alone. Juliana doesn't.
I was not allowed to have my own TikTok. I will clarify that for that video. I was not allowed to have my own, and we recorded it on my daughter's because yes, like Lisa, I am not allowed to do that. So yes, she gets credit for the recording. I was a guest host.
And I don't do TikTok, so I give Juliana lots of props for that one. You wouldn't want to see me dance or sing.
Oh, no, I would.
So we do have a little bit of a reference page for you guys, just on some of the clip arts and where we got things from, and some of the tools that we were talking about today, as well as some of the research. And we did share our presentation, so you should be able to find it underneath that title and be able to download the presentation, so you'll have it there. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Let me say my children banned me from it. Yep, I get that. Too funny. But we thank you guys very much. It is 2 o'clock, so it is at our stopping time. I'm okay to hang out here a little bit if anybody else is popping in anything else, and it's okay with our producers and Lisa. But we do want to thank you very, very much for joining us, for sharing your ideas in the chat and being actively involved and engaging with us throughout the presentation. We hope you got something that you can take away and maybe even, you know, use in your class on Monday, and try something new to show the students that you're that learner too, because that's really important for us to model for them as well.